Hello, so today I want to talk about something that came up on Facebook in the London comedy scene quite a lot last week, and it is about rape joke versus the freedom of speech. Some men feel quite attacked with the whole metoo thing, and they feel rape jokes have to be encouraged. I was not there at this gig, but I read up on it on Facebook with all the comments. It was an open mic comedy gig. A female comedian performed and then she watched the show and left during the show before it was finished, while a guy was on stage who mentioned rape. The organizer was not happy with her. He wrote her an email and said, "I'm not happy with you because you're supposed to stay to the end to the show and support the other acts." And she answered in a quite nice way. "I was not comfortable. There was a guy talking about rape, and therefore my friend and I felt we want to leave," and they left. This organizer, let's call him Mr. Ignorance, he posted her private email on Facebook in a Facebook comedy group and slagging her off. Thank God there were actually quite a few men who said to him, "What's your problem?" Because she said in a nice way why she had to leave, and fair enough. He argued, he gave a few points, I wrote them down, let me read them. He called her too fragile for comedy. And then he said, if we are so fragile, we should basically stay at home and never leave our home or not do that career. If you're not capable to listen to rape jokes, you should stay at home. There are 1,000 other jokes you can do in this world, so why would you attack, let's say, Jewish people, homosexual people, women? Why do you do violent rape jokes? What is the point? He called her fragile for leaving. If anything, that is strong. This woman knows exactly what she wants and what she doesn't want. That is somebody strong who stood up for her rights. Then he also said, "We all have wounds, some more than others, but we have," capitalized everything, "have to learn to cope." So if I'm standing in front of a person who is a misogynist and who does misogynist jokes, what is my wound then? Is my wound being a woman? Do I have to cope being a woman? If I got raped and somebody does rape jokes, with this comment, do I basically have to say, well, rape is okay, I just have to cope with it? He also said, we don't get to choose the ideas that reach us, but we do, because I, as a person, have the right to leave if I don't want to listen to these jokes. And if a comedian does rape jokes and everyone in the audience feels offended and gets up and leaves, this comedian has no audience to reach. We actually do choose, and we should probably be more like this woman and actively choose what we want to listen to and what we don't want to listen to. And there was also the argument that famous people do rape jokes as well. Doesn't make them better. If you are on stage and you do a rape joke, you legitimize the topic rape. You make it acceptable. You make people laugh about this topic. And then people say, well, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I can do it. And you probably have a young person that sees you as a role model and that just thinks, okay, if he says it's okay, I'm fine with it. We see it as movies. For example, the movie Blade Runner. He wants to kiss her, she says no, she runs away, he takes her, pushes her against the wall, and then she's like, okay, well then I kiss you, and she enjoys it. This is not what women like. But basically, a young man watches it, grows up with the role model, and thinks, a woman says no, but if I push her against the wall and be a bit violent, then she will say yes. As a filmmaker, as a comedian, as an artist, we do have to stand up and use our voice wisely. That's a responsibility. We can't refer to the freedom of speech by restricting other people's freedom. Mr. Ignorance, he had 51 comments on his post, and then he turned the comments off. So apparently he was not that fussed about the freedom of speech anymore. If men still get a joy out of rape jokes after this whole debate of Me Too, I think it is very frustrating and worrying, because in my opinion there is something wrong with these people. I can see that in former times nobody talked about this and they didn't know how harmful it is. Maybe some men grew up with films like Blade Runner and thought it's okay to do that. But after this movement, after hearing so many women telling their stories, I, as a man, I would say, oh my God, I have to stand up and change something and not to encourage to do more rape jokes. And if some guys feel threatened by the Me Too movement, they probably should, because that's exactly the guys why this movement started. My question is, if this woman who left the comedy gig because she felt uncomfortable with the material that she saw on stage, If that woman was a man, would the comedy organizer, Mr. Ignorant, would he have posted her private email? Would he have said, "The man who left is too fragile to do comedy. He should better stay at home if he can't face this material"? So it was again a man who explained the world to a woman by belittling her, by patronizing her. All in all, I do think what this woman did was very inspiring and is a role model, because she did stand up for her rights. If we draw ourselves away as an audience for them, they will be just amongst themselves. So let me know your opinion. Please feel free to post comments for rape jokes against freedom of speech. I don't turn the comments off. I allow every comment. Stand up for your rights. Have a lovely week and see you soon. Bye.